told Foxy it's your birthday, not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
Aloha, everyone, and thank you for joining the Moana Nui Podcast. We have a very special episode tonight that we is one of our features that we call the Kickstarter Highlight. And you already see one face that is a familiar face to the Moana Nui Podcast, but we also have someone new joining us. Of course, we have Greg Anderson, Elise, and David Brain, who is joining us today. And we're going to be talking about the new Kickstarter that is running right now, Hammer. Uh, Joy just said hello from the LaGuardia Airport from Instagram. Thank you for tuning in on Instagram while you're at the airport. For those that aren't familiar with the project, a brief reading about Hammer. It's 100 years have passed, and the machines and artificial intelligence have taken over, now ruling a post-apocalyptic world. Human beings are fuel, entertainment, and labor to help advance the supremacy of machines. Born through the pain, blood, and tears of the suffering humans who continually pray to the Mother Earth. Um, Asase, am I pronouncing
Asase.
right, Greg?
Yeah, Asase.
Asase, thank you. For strength and salvation, a new John Henry, the steel driving man who is now made of root, is born to help bring down the current threat to humanity. And this project launched in 2023 with Greg and David. Hammer is a web comic filled with action, symbolism, and the perseverance of our people through Patreon. And it also picked up the 2025 awards also for best webcomic, best artist, and best writer. So kudos on those three awards to the both of you.
Thank you.
So for those that are getting introduced to you for the first time, Greg, can you introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about you?
My name is Greg Anderson Elise. I am a writer, creator, born and raised Brooklyn, Haitian background, and I've been pra- practically writing all my life. And a lot of the themes that I like to cover in my writing, especially as prominently seen in Is Not of the Were Spider, is Black culture. I love to depict Black culture in a fantastical setting, speculative fiction, use it for horror, fantasy, sci-fi. I like to showcase a lot of, ATP, some Black African spirituality, just to showcase, a lot of beautiful work that we can be doing. That we have a well of just knowledge and stories and figures and characters that we can do so much of, and it's not just the typical Greek mythologies and European mythologies and fairy tales. There's so much that we can do. All we have to do is do research on our backgrounds and our roots and have fun with what we learn.
Love it, love it. And Greg, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Oh, you mean David?
I mean,
Dave.
sorry. Oh my gosh, Greg. David. See,
So
I shouldn't be
sounds like
multitasking.
everyone is just taken aback by all the muscles that and it's like, my
Y'all like twins. I'm
goodness.
telling y'all, twins.
We look just alike, bro. Come on now.
uh, yeah, my name is David Brain, or you can find me anywhere as the amazing David Brain. I'm an artist,
My fault, David. I'm
educator,
having a hard time hearing you.
activist.
Yes.
You having a
Can you get
you having a
closer
hard
to your
time?
mic?
Yes, I can. Hopefully that helps. Um,
Yes.
Yeah, I am. Once again, I'm David Brain, also known as the Amazing David Brain. You can find me anywhere, and I'm an artist, educator, and activist. And yeah, I've been making comics and all types of art for the past like 23 years. Me and Greg have been collaborating for I think about 10, and this is probably one of our first like long-term and ongoing projects, Hammer. Uh, and yeah, I'm pretty much invested in creating Black stories, focused on Black history and Black ethos, and kind of building that um, for all of us. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. So, Greg, for this new project, Hammer, it's taking the story because you have already done a comic on John Henry, but now you're taking it to a different level. What inspired you to create this new comic, with it being John Henry versus the uh, robot apocalypse?
So I think it's just going back to the general theme of trying to adapt new stories with a lot of our old uh, figures, folklore, legends, mythology, traditional religions. I feel like there's so much that could be done, and when I was creating Hammer, I actually wrote Hammer, at least the first draft of Hammer, right after I did Volume One of Isnana, and
Mm,
that was something I was working on for quite some time. And unfortunately, I had to shelve it because the artist that I had attached to it, he ended up getting a lot of great opportunities. I was just like, bro, you got to take it. Like I don't blame you at all. And since then, I sort of shelved Hammer, but I still had that concept of John Henry versus the robot apocalypse in my head, and I just thought, the themes of facing the machines, that's taking over like humankind. That goes back to his original stories of him having to beat the steam drill just to showcase that human beings are still good enough for us not to be losing our jobs. And to this day, that's still an issue. Now we're dealing with it with AI, and so I feel like this story, no matter what year, sort of resonates with people. And I think it's great that it's a huge black legend, and I felt, given the theme of his Nana, it only made sense to finally have John Henry in the book as well. So I ended up creating a new, different version of that idea in order to incorporate it with his Nana. But since then, it was like, yo, I still have like two acts of like like hundreds of pages that is not nothing is happening to it. I'm not gonna.
mm,
I'm not about to waste my my time, with that. And I was very proud of Hammer, and so that's when I reached out to David, who at this point bro, I don't know how many projects we worked on already together, but it's been a lot. But they've always been like shorts. I was just like, yo, let's do something like really cool. What do you think about this concept? And he was down, and from there, that's where Hammer that we have now is born. And so, given that now it's come out after the original is not a story that initially came out, before,
yes.
I just found a way to retool it to make it uh, seem like a spin-off from Is Not,
Mm.
even though initially it was the other way around.
I love it. So, David, for yourself, as you were working with Greg on this particular comic, how was the visualization process for you to figure out how you were going to capture what Greg was writing and portraying for this comic, for you to really try to make his vision come to life?
Um, I think we've been working together for quite a long time. So um, like our collaborative process is I don't know, it's pretty streamlined at this point. Like the his scripts are pretty, like, I would say, didactic in a way, like so he does um sort of lead me as an artist for what I'm going to be creating, but he also has the um I guess the levity and the ability to kind of let me, create as an artist and kind of come up with things on my own. Um, so, uh, in one, let's say, in one area in the beginning of the book, it's sort of the like a part of it is described as, sort of Greek inspired, backgrounds, characters, those kinds of things. So that's like kind of the basis of his direction, and from there I
Mm.
can kind of add and ad lib, you know, kind of whatever I want, um, and in that way we kind of like sort of spitball, work back and forth. I send him some images, and he yays or nays, or whatever, what have you, and you know, I just keep building from there. I mean, I also have like kind of a wealth of my own like cultural and historical like knowledge that I pull from. Like I've lived a lot of places. So I have like a really large library of imagery, and just my own personal memories that I pull from to try to make things feel real or fantastical or surreal. That's kind of uh, what I do as an artist.
Very nice. Yes, because of course, Greg knows, I am one of the people I am pledging as soon as it launched. I know me and Morgan got some beef right now. I keep beating him out the last couple
She's
campaigns
been number one, the first backer. She's been the
because it's
first
been
backer.
twice I've been the first backer on your campaigns.
Yeah.
So this campaign, I was the first one. So he was contesting the results along with a couple others that I know, and they were debating their friendship with me. But but with this, I know from the other work you've done, Greg, you do a great job of storytelling and building the universe that and that world building that you have in your different series and books that you have written with. And this one was giving me that, I call it that cross of, you got Isnana, you got John Henry, these historical pieces. Then you got, like you said, the AI robot. So that was giving me Terminator coming in right there. And then you meshed these up so beautifully that you brought in some of the, issues that, this particular future can bring, but at the same time, how this affects humans and how humans have to connect, and similar to current times of dealing with an opponent, in whether politically or otherwise, that we have to stand together to protect each other and survive. So as you were doing this story building, what inspirations were you pulling to help build this world for you to stand out versus a Terminator or a Matrix, that you made this your own?
So, um, yeah, the Terminator, Mad Max, those were huge, and Dune. Those were huge inspirations for this book. But when you start to incorporate blackness, the story completely shifts,
Yes.
right? And I'm using blackness not in terms of just visually putting black people as the forefront, but using our backgrounds, using our spirituality, using our
Yes.
culture. That's when the story sort of takes a shift. So there's a textbook that I have. I forgot the full name of it, but Black Consciousness is the main aspect of it. And it goes into the various timelines of just blackness and black culture, from Africa to African American history, and how much that has helped shape the consciousness of what blackness is and what we are attuned to, and so there was a lot of that, and it goes into some rebellions and stuff like that, and the way we use music and the call and response, which also shows up in the book as well. How much that influences us. And I use a lot of that as well to sort of showcase how it influences this world that we're in. Like, for example, Mother Nature, I can use it to be, Gaia, which I feel like is the typical go-to, and
Yes.
it's a very, almost European type of way of looking at it. When with the Greek gods and stuff like that, and I love Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology, but then I'm like, what other Mother Nature aspects are there, especially in the Black world? And that's how I was able to discover a full Asase. And
Mm.
so that makes it a whole different shift. Where now I could connect that to the Legend of John Henry, and why not showcase us as the people who are dealing with these machines? And I feel like a lot of times when it's a post-apocalyptic world, the heroes and the protagonists are always white. They're always white, and you might get that one little smidge of black character.
Mm.
When you watch Mad Max, I could only think about Tina Turner and Zoe Kravitz. I can't think of any other black character in that whole franchise, and I love that franchise.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have a story where the majority were people of color, and they're the ones who are sort of dictating where the story is going, and as well as showcasing a lot of our spirituality and our legends as well.
Yes.
I'm not using black folks as just window dressing. There's a lot of
Yes.
our stuff in the way we speak. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Oh, yes, definitely. Uh, like you said, it just brings that aspect because that's one thing with Isnana and that really was allowing a lot of people to connect to, like you said, those African spiritualities, but also those folklores and the gods that was pretty much part of our lives until colonization happened. So I love that you're bringing in that action, that symbolism, but also, like you said, the Black folklore, the spirituality, but then also the historical slave rebellions also in this aspect, um, which is done great. And then also along with this, with this project, uh, if anyone that if you've never done a Kickstarter, the beautiful part of Kickstarters is you have the standard cover, then you have these variant covers, and you got to work with some very talented artists that you have for your variant covers, but also um, different aspects you get with your Kickstarter. Um, so, what was it also outside of David working with some of these other artists to do these, variant covers for you?
So I do have to say shout out to David because he was the one who wanted Massimiliano and Antonello,
Mm,
and it's at the point where a lot of decisions that I make when I'm working with David, it becomes like a total partnership instead of like, this is what we're doing and you're doing this, you're the artist and you stick to this. So David is my partner in crime, especially with the way this book has gone and behind the scenes as well. And when Massimiliano Veltri, I've worked with him on The Gentleman many years ago,
yes,
and even though that never got to finish, me and Mas, we just continued a bond of friendship, and we've been wanting to work together, but I think we've yet to find the time or the schedule for us to work on something. But when I asked David, hey, if we do variants, who would you like to see? And he said Massimiliano. I was like, I bet that say less. Like I love that guy. And so when I asked Mouse, he was just like, yes, absolutely. He jumped on it. And the same thing with Antonello. Antonello, I've done Marasa with, I've done Stronghold with. So
mm,
he's also somebody I just absolutely love to work with. And David, again, Antonello. So I was like, all right, cool. Done deal. And so working with them again was is a joy for me. And what I love about their covers in particularly is they each sort of represent something different from the book. And then we have Walter Osley, who did the art for the original John Henry and It's Not a Story. And so
Mm.
that wouldn't have been a thing without Walter. And so I had to reach out to him and be like, yo, I don't know if you're still drawing, if you're still doing art, but can you jump on this? Can you give me a variant? And he was like, hell yeah, he was in. And what I love about him is that he decided he wanted to focus on the resistance, you know,
Mm.
who eventually they connect with John, but then they join John in Act Two. A little spoiler alert, but yeah, but they are very very important characters. And so as I said, each cover sort of represents something different that I felt was really really dope, and I was excited to see which aspects each artist took.
Love it. Now, of course, for this Kickstarter, you got some, various levels for people. And, outside of the comic, you'll also see there's a level at $150 that you get to join the resistance. You can get yourself drawn into the final battle with John Henry and the resistance against the machine for at least two panels. And this, of course, the final battle will be for Act three. So this particular Kickstarter is for Act One, but if you pledge that 150, you're getting put in the final battle. They're going to see your lovely face in there. So, but this is a great opportunity because there's not a lot of Kickstarters that there's a pledge level that you get to be placed into the story yourself into that you get to be part of history, basically. So I think that is great. And then you also have your different aspects of things that people can get along with the physical and digital copy. But you have pinups, you have also stickers, and you also have, of course, opportunity to get all the variant covers, but also David's 8 by 10 water color commission. So you can be able to commission him through this Kickstarter for um, for this. So uh, which is awesome opportunity you can also get. But then you can get your own plush version of John Henry's hammer. You can get that for 160 that you can add that on to whatever pledge level for the book editions or the covers that you can get. And also John Henry Funko Pop. So if you're a Funko collector, you can get that also. So it you have this amazing package. And then of course I love that you have the very top package for $600. You can get everything except for the water commissions.
Yeah, you
You
gotta
can
add
add that
those
on.
in. Yeah, you gotta add those. Don't make that difficult for us, you know.
Exactly. Well, now y'all don't ask for too much. You're supposed to be helping with the project. So, of course, y'all working with all these amazing artists. David, you having this connection with all of these amazing artists that you're bringing in, connecting Greg to this. How was it like you approaching these artists saying, "Hey, I want you to be part of this"?
Oh, I didn't have to do anything. I mean, Greg is like the like basically we have a conversation and then he reaches out to people like I mean, luckily we're kind of all in the same kind of artistic sphere, like we're kind of in the same artistic ecosystem. So
We all
um
bonded over the same mishap. So
yeah.
that's,
Yeah, there was
Well, I can
a
bond with
person who
y'all
shall
some of
not be
that too.
named. Yeah, and that guy,
Greg knows.
yeah, he stole a lot of money and kind of sullied the name of Kickstarter and all of that
Yes,
kind of stuff. And
I'm one of
um,
those victims.
yes, yo, I feel like I'm one of the original victims. I met him when in
Mm.
2008. So like, I met him before Kickstarter was even a thing. And so that's my first experience with this man. And yeah, he steals from everyone. And uh, so,
And changes his
but
profile very quickly on social media
yeah,
and reappears
yeah,
in all these nerdy groups.
yeah,
Anybody watching who knows what we're talking about, you know, if you
yeah,
know.
yeah, full on abusive, like narcissistic profile. So like,
Yep.
just miss out on that man. But because of that bond, we all kind of like we're like you know we stay connected, and I think we're all fans of each other's work, and I think that really helps. So it's pretty easy to reach out and let someone know like, hey, you wanna connect, you wanna work on this, um, you know, can I get you for this? You want to get me for that? And uh, it makes it like a lovely little world that we're in.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, Greg's already said, y'all are going to have this partnership in this world building. We already know we got up to Acts 3 with this particular series. Um, you know, what has been like, one of those moments as you're in this process, you're just like, you just get revved up so much that you're just like, yo, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning, but dude, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta do this. For each of you, what has been one of those moments for you as y'all been the both of you have been working on this project?
Uh, I mean, the one that I think really got me super hyped and it was pretty much like, I mean, I guess we're already in the first act, but like kind of the first act of the first act when we meet the big bad, the villain. Like
Mm-hmm.
those first, I think it's like the first 10 pages or so.
Yes.
Once we hit that, I mean, it was originally written as just like, a single page and not even like a splash page, and I was like, yo, we gotta make this bigger. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had a conversation, and like, um from there it just got more hype and more hype and more hype as we went along, and I kind of met the characters, and built them, and I mean, I feel like Greg is, like you said, he's already had 10 years of getting to know these characters and having an idea. And for me it was like, I'm like a fan as I'm drawing this book. So I became a fan like immediately, as I was like, man, this is dope. We got to do more. We got to do it bigger. We got to do it, whatever. And so yeah, that was what it was for me.
Okay. And what about you, Greg?
It was definitely the opening pages. I was just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Um, and I loved, like, one of my favorite things about the collaborative effort when it comes to creating comics is there's rarely a time where, like, I'm not blown away by a lot of amazing artists that I've worked with, because it's like I've written things a particular way, so I imagine it a particular way, but I'm not so in love with it that I get frustrated if somebody does something different. Like, just as long as the main gist of what I want is there, I'm usually cool. But
Mm-hmm.
David, like, continually blows me away, like, all the freaking time. And I think even seeing the designs of the robots was so different from how I imagined it that, like, I don't even remember how the hell I imagined them. To me, like, the way David just made them is just, that's it. That's how I imagined it when I wrote
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, even though, like, he's very imaginative and creative, and the fact that he didn't want the typical robots, and
Yes.
that was enough for me to just be like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I don't want the same old shit. And so I feel we are very much in sync when it comes to a lot of the things that we want, and we have the same interests. A lot of movies that people think is weird and twisted and doesn't make any sense. Me and him are like, "Yo, wasn't that movie amazing?" And so I just feel like we've built such a partnership and a brotherhood just based off of, like, similarities, that things just click. And just like as you said, when he brought up the villain Bolt coming in, like that scene where the John that we are introduced to in the beginning with his wife, when
Mm-hmm.
he's just rummaging through all the different machines, and like the lightning is around him, and he's just like empowered just to survive. That one
Yes.
page was enough to be like, why did I wait so long to fucking ask this dude to make this story? Like that one splash page, like it was a 2-pager now, is like, I feel like that is everything. Like that,
Hmm.
I feel like that page is like the selling point. That should be the selling point. That should get people enticed to say like, "Whoa, what the heck am I about to read?" You know. So, I that was the point for me when it came to
Hmm.
knowing. And I always feel like whenever I work with David, he's always the perfect match. So I'm never really worried.
Yeah.
But that was definitely one of those parts where I was just like, "Yo, we got something magical right here, man. We got some black magic going on, man. Love it."
Yes, love it. And I love how you brought up about the robots because so used to with a lot of the portrayals of robots in these type of movies or writings or anything. They're copy paste. But when I saw the imagery of when you're introduced to the robots, I was just like, whoa, they all had their own look and flair. None of them look the same. Some may have hair, some may not have hair, some, are small, some have no body, just a head floating with some arms. And then others, are, like Bolt is huge and everything. But you also get to see this um almost uh, you see how the evolution of the AI and these robots have come because they have more such human like behaviors from what they consider entertainment to which a lot of people are like whoa may get thrown off, but it's like hey, what the biggest thing we learn from AI is they learn from what we input online. So they learn from what we provided them both online and in their programming. So if anything to blame, it's us. And it's that
Sure.
running joke that a lot of people have, especially they refer to Terminator. It's like, okay, have you not between it's Terminator and then especially whenever we see articles of them trying to revive dinosaurs that you keep seeing, everybody's like, have y'all not seen Jurassic Park? So it's so funny that when we see these kind of things, our minds instantly go to the books and movies that we've connected. And I feel Hammer is going to be one of those that when people read it, when some article come out, it's going to be like, there it is. That's Hammer right there. I
Like
need
we
you to
warned
read
y'all.
this.
Like David and Greg warned y'all.
Exactly, exactly. Like we had Terminator,
We had
we
the
had
Matrix. We
iRobot,
had Hammer.
we had Hammer. What lessons did y'all not learn from any of this? But it's that beauty of creativity that I was talking about that on with Karen Ashley on her show on the Bop. Uh, that when people get hit with the ugly truths, they're kind of like, ooh, no, this kind of thing. But they consume it easier when it's through entertainment or books. That it's just like they're like, yeah, take down the system, that everything else, for vendetta, kind of behavior, Star Wars. We're part of the rebellion, but then when it comes to real life, is a disconnect.
Mhm.
So I see with Hammer, you're bringing more of the um, connection of history, but also what's really going on to help people kind of help connect that pieces, kind of like um, the let's see, what is it? Something Maytales, something tales. I know people have been talking about that lately. I know they have the red cloaks. I haven't watched that series,
Oh,
so I'm
the
sorry.
Handmaid's
Handmaid
Tale.
Tales, yes. So everybody out there, don't get me. I'm sorry, I haven't watched it, but I know what it is. But um, but that is like the beauty of this creative process that you have. And as you're working with these artists and the inspiration that you pull from, Greg talked about his inspiration. David, what has been your inspiration as you're in your drawing creative process that gives you that insight of like, yeah, I want to pull this in as we're creating these panels and these pages for the story?
I mean, I think you hit on kind of the biggest point was like I wanted every character to feel unique and to have their own kind of visual presence and their own visual voice. So I pulled from a lot of my like inspirations. Like I watch a lot of old like anime. I'm into like old sword and sorcery like movies and really, sort of classic sci-fi and classic horror. So like, I pulled from a lot of those like visual tropes, that were kind of created, but I didn't want to make it like copy and paste like you also mentioned. I didn't want to just like um I didn't want to actually have like a uniform sense of identity for everything because uh, I didn't personally think that made makes sense. Like I think, I mean, if you just look at like how we've industrialized the world and just how sort of capitalism runs, it gives you a lot of different options. And I think what we would have in a post-apocalyptic world is like a lot of trash to pull from, and a lot of that trash is not going anywhere. So like you would have, pieces of metal, pieces of plastic or whatever to pull from, and all these things would get bolted together and you know smashed together, and then there might be things that might survive that like are like sort of the more futuristic looking things, as well as the things that are more sort of our classic idea of what a robot was. So I kind of wanted to kind of have this nice like gumbo or goulash of visual styles like and I think that's what is present in Hammer, as you read through it.
Very nice. Now, of course, we there's only 3 days left that this Kickstarter will officially end on Saturday, July 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern. So you need to pledge. Your money doesn't get taken as soon as you pledge, but once this closes, then they'll go ahead and charge your card. But jump on this while you can, because Kickstarters is where you get all the nice little goodies and everything. And of course, the biggest thing, for those that have done Kickstarters is a lot of times there's stretch goals. Greg, do you have any stretch goals going? Because you've already hit the goal mark. You're, we want to keep pushing it past the goal.
Yeah,
We got to reposition the goalposts a little bit more. What stretch goals do you have?
I'm considering. I'm considering. I'm considering. So my sister did a pinup just to have one
Mm-hmm.
for because she wanted to use her platform to help push the book, and so she surprised me with a dope pinup of her own in her style. So I was like, oh shoot! And today, I was just like, shit, stretch goal because we reached the goal today, and like I think my last one or two Kickstarters, I didn't really do a stretch goal because I just after a while you just get so mentally overwhelmed doing this. So I was just like,
Yes.
am I right? But this time around, I was just like, maybe I can use that pinup that you did to see what happens. And David also had some suggestions a couple of weeks ago of possible stretch goals, and some of them like was like, oh shit, that's a really dope idea. We should maybe consider
Mm-hmm.
that. So I still got a day or two to
Yeah.
consider
Gotta figure it out.
what
But
we're
we're
gonna do.
trying to push it because I'm visualing y'all. If y'all can get the it to 20,000, I visual the 20,000 goal is Greg cosplaying as John Henry with a hammer. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You have the aspect of thirst trap and also promotion. Boom.
Yeah, including the hammer, of course.
Yes, exactly. Must have the hammer.
Holding the hammer in a very suggestive way,
Either
right?
way, while flexing. So yes. So y'all, I'm putting it out in the atmosphere, y'all. If y'all want to help push this, it's currently at $13,392. Let's get it an extra $7,000. Push it to that 20,000. Let's make this happen.
This was-
Ladies,
Yes.
gentlemen,
oh man, that's an idea.
there you
Yeah,
go.
I approve of this idea because I don't have to draw anything. So
We just need a photographer to take the pictures.
Oh man, that's funny.
And I bet there's going to be at least 3 of them that will be willing to volunteer to take the
Mhm.
photos.
What's funny too is the first reference for John Henry I actually posed for David for
Yeah,
the
for
cover of
the ballads.
yeah, it was for the cover of the Isnana, the ballads of Rawhead and John Henry, and I think I had to show what I had in mind with the pose with the hammer, and
Yes.
so that was good times. That was
We're about to bring it back.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's get it to 20,000 people. We got 3 days. Uh, but yes, and of course, for anybody, if you're not like, hey, I don't have enough space to, I'm trying to minimize because I know some people are doing the minimizing and everything. You can still donate through the Kickstarter saying, hey, I want to give money. Don't send me anything. I just want to support to make this thing happen. Go ahead and do that. Drop a couple thousand.
Right, exactly.
Drop a
But
couple
there's
thousand. 'Cause I
also
know some of y'all are still trying to spend that, income tax check and everything. Some
it
of
was
y'all
all
might have hit the lottery, got a couple thousand from a scratch off for Mega Millions or, you know, support. Because
right.
you say y'all want more of our stories, us telling the story versus the big 3. This is your chance. This is your chance.
Yes, absolutely.
Total facts. Total facts.
So if there's any sugar mamas or sugar daddies out there that want to go ahead and drop like 5,000, 2,000, we will appreciate you. We will add you to a sponsor of my outro saying thank you.
And get drawn in the book.
Exactly. We'll
Get
get you
drawn in the
drawn in the
book.
book because if you're giving that much, you got the everything and some for that. Yes.
But
So
yeah, for
yeah.
even for like the minimalists, we also have the PDFs, and we have two editions for both the print and the PDF. We have the standard book, and we have the special edition, which will have the full script, as well
Mm,
as many layouts and designs that David has done, some behind the scenes stuff like that. So yeah,
beautiful. So yeah.
David,
So
come
if
back.
I know. We see the black screen with the little swirl, so I can tell it's connectivity issues. So hopefully he'll be back. But this, which I always love with a lot of our indie creators, is that they have these options that you don't have to get the physical comic, but you can still enjoy the comic by getting the PDFs
Yeah,
and be able to read it. And then, of course, those different items you can have part of it. If you're a collector of Funkos and things like that, you have so many ways of still supporting, but still hitting what you love to collect and love to capture and everything. Um, so I really love that, you have that, you're going to have this 3-part series. Now, is there any potential outside of the next 2 acts and this current act? Is there any other projects that y'all are also working on? Because Greg, I've learned you're not working on one thing at one time. You usually got about 3 or 4, irons in the fire uh, that is coming out simultaneously. So, is there anything else that the two of you are going to be working on that we can look forward to hearing about that we can support?
If you think I'm bad, just wait till you hear from David. David is a monster, man. He's a nah. I think he's a machine. I
Okay.
think, I think like you're giving us some like spy knowledge of how the machines work or something because I have a couple of stuff coming out. I have some stories with True Fiction where
Mm,
they're a company that uses Black history to create like fictional stories and to also educate. And
okay.
they put their stuff in school. So I've written about three scripts for them. One of them has already come out. There's two that needs to be released soon.
Okay.
Uh, I'm working on the next issue of Stronghold, and
Nice.
I'm doing a Monkey King saga type of thing, which will eventually cross into a story with his Nana for modern mythology. There's a couple other scripts that I still need to sit my ass down and start formulating, but those stuff is coming out, and Act Two is already written out for the most part for Hammer. I might do like a revision and see what I might want to change and update. But yeah, listen, David doesn't sleep. He doesn't know what that is. So he has. Let him tell you like the whole list of shit he got going on.
All right, David, we're ready.
Right when my dog's about to tuck.
They're censoring you like
Yeah, they're very excited right now.
it's like
Yeah,
you got
actually,
NDAs.
yes, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, just don't ask me to solve a captcha anytime soon. But I've been spending the last year working on a bunch of projects with John Jennings. He's also if you know of John Jennings, like of Kindred and Ghostlight, and all the other stuff he's done, Parable of the Sower. Um, so we just did. We finished Parable of the Talents last year, and or yeah, like last year, and we've been shopping that around. So we're actually going to be at the Savannah book festival this February, putting that out. Um, we did two sort of large books together that are in progress right now. Like my part is done. I finished drawing them, so he's gonna color them and get them lettered and all that kind of stuff. Um, One of those books is called Restoration. It's a sort of a Lovecraftian like horror, like cosmic horror book about sort of this haunted painting, and well, it's more of like a haunted color that possesses people, and then we're working on a bunch of sort of public domain projects with the professor in at St. Crown University. His name is Michael Norton Dando. And so we've been sort of taking public domain characters and um, blackifying them, and so sort of all these golden age white heroes. We kind of um, you know, we're doing like a send up and making them more relevant. So we're kind of I'm in the current process of finishing those books right now. They're epistolaries, if you know what that is. Like so, they're kind of these. It's not like a formal sequential style book. It's more like there's a lot of like writing. There's a lot of prose and a lot of just sort of like illustrated prose that's going in that. We also did. If you ever heard of Blue Hand Mojo, I finished up the second part of that book, which is also it's about this 1930s detective who makes a deal with the devil to get his soul back, and the deal that he makes is he has to do detective work for the devil, um, who's called Scratch. And so it's all like sort of set in Jackson, Mississippi, in the 1930s, and this one is kind of a retelling of the Cain and Abel story,
Oh,
but set in the 1930s, Jackson, Mississippi. So that one's going to be pretty dope. Um, and I just started another book called Black Axe, which is a fantasy book um, called, or it's called Black Axe, but it's a sort of a black multicultural like fantasy like story, and that one's like gonna be pretty dope. It's like a four-part like book, and I'm on the last part right now. Um, you know, amongst a bunch of other little projects. I mean, Greg, he reminds me, like, oh yeah, I guess. So I just did. I did. Can you still hear me? Yeah. So I did this book called Safe Passage. That's being shopped around right now, and um, Safe Passage is
Wait,
kind of
what just happened?
yeah. Is it?
Was that just
Am I turning into a robot right now?
Yeah,
me?
because
I told
yeah,
you,
was
bro.
this? It was something as you were talking, it was doing, and it was just like, all right,
Yeah.
Bruh,
I know,
Yeah.
put it back.
your
I
ass
I
malfunctioned, bro. I'm
apologize.
telling you.
Better
I'm
close that portal.
I'm currently in Mexico right now. The internet here is
Yeah,
not
that's the excuse.
fantastic.
That's the
Yeah,
excuse. All right.
Mexico.
yeah. But um, anyways, there's just I'm doing a lot of stuff. I have a lot of projects like kind of always going on, and you gotta make money and gotta make stories, and um, yeah.
So, of course, Greg, I wanted to also ask you because, one of the, projects that you had last year, that was a big, you know, win for you is you got to write and be part of the uh, book Dreamers, for, of course, for the youth and everything that I mean, a lot of writers is trying to get part of getting that publication with a major publisher that was behind Dreamer was a huge, huge thing. Are you looking at doing any more books like Dreamer, that we can continue seeing that is going to uh, be that addition that we can add into the young adults library, or they can find at their school book fairs?
So that was on you now.
Hey, David is bringing it in. He's trying to. He's got Skynet connected.
Ah, um, I mean, it really all depends on which editor or publisher reaches out to me. To be honest with you, I'm
Okay.
still connected to Scholastic. I
Yes.
communicate with Mike, who is the editor for Dreamer, and I love that guy. He's
Mm,
great to work with, and we've been discussing about seeing what else I can write for them. So I guess we're just still trying to find the right project. And
okay.
I'm still really cool with Akeem Aliru, who Dreamer was based off, and we check in with each other every now and then. And sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?" So he'll be like, "Okay, cool." So it's really just, I guess, timing. It's timing and just trying to get the opportunities from those editors, from those publishers, and um, a part of me, I'm still like, yo, I've been in this business for a minute now. How come y'all not knocking on my door at this point? What's going on? But still trying to be patient, still biding my time, doing releasing work consistently. As I guess we'll see what happens. If they ever start to smarten up and be like, maybe we
Yeah.
can use Greg for something.
Yes.
You know?
Hey, I want to say use and pay accordingly.
Yes, exactly. Pay
Got to
accordingly
add that because we don't want to be just used. We want used and paid
and
accordingly for your worth.
respected.
That exactly. respected, and therefore long-term relationship. So yes,
Exactly.
we're going to put out there Scholastic, Disney, any of y'all. Oh, uh, now, of course, as we're getting to the top of the hour, definitely wanted to see how, for the both of you, to share with the audience how they can follow both of you on social media, and of course, in with this Kickstarter, they can get Hammer, and of course, um, you know, the, the variant covers, but also getting the Esnana, the Were Spider, the Ballad of Iron, Raw, sorry, Iron Way, Rawhead, and Iron John Henry. But you have both of you have a lot of the projects you have done. Can you also share along with the your social media how they can purchase some of your other work if they don't see you at an upcoming con?
Yeah. So on my Instagram page, Greg Day, that's DAE, you'll see the link tree on my stuff, and so that will literally bring you to practically every link that you can get some of my work. You'll see my web store for the Isnano franchise. It has all the books up there, as well as all the PDFs and the coloring comic book that I have up there as well. Volume 1 and 2 of Isnano are also available through Amazon. So you can type in that on Amazon, it should show up. And my Twitter is right there, right under there. So you'll see Greg and Elise. You can go to Facebook, Greg A. Elise, and find me there. But yeah, those are the main things. And for the John Henry, if you have 3 days, just type in on Google Hammer John Henry Kickstarter. It should pop up. You should get the link here as well. And yeah, I think that's really it for me.
And David, if Skynet will allow you to.
Yeah, Skynet, and my many dogs. I guess for me right now, I just got off most of social media. I'm on Blue Sky right now, so you can find me on there at at Amazing David Brain on Blue Sky. But you can find you know, a lot of my books where all fine books are sold. So there's uh, Parable of the Talents is right now being it's out, so you should check that out. Safe Passage, also that's by Lee and Low Books. You can find that Barnes and Noble, any bookshop. You should be able to pick that up. And so those are the big books I would look for that are connected to me right now.
Okay, very nice. And of course, as we're getting ready to wrap up, any closing words you would like to give to the audience before we get ready to wrap up the show?
Buy black shit,
Yeah,
especially Hammer.
yes. And not all kinfolk, skin folk are kinfolk. So
No, no.
especially part of the if you know, you know.
Oh no. Do your due diligence and ask around.
Yes, do
We
your
have
research.
a lot of
Google.
interesting people in the black uh, business and comic community. A lot of really interesting folks. Everyone got stories. Let's just say that.
Yes. But there's plenty of them that, we call the two Gregs. We got Greg Burnham, we got Greg Anderson Elisi, we have Malachi, also with her series and everything. So there's so many amazing creatives out there. Definitely support because if you want to see these stories, you gotta put your money where your mouth where your where you're speaking because a lot of y'all talk our keyboard warriors. Y'all talk a lot on social media, but the money is not speaking as strongly as your social media posts.
Right.
Right. Yeah. If you're not creating, then you should be supporting, and I think that is the the modus operandi for all of us. If we're gonna make this like this ecosystem work, we gotta support and we gotta create.
Definitely, definitely. So definitely, in your comments, you have Greg's link tree, but also the link to the Kickstarter. If you don't grab the link, definitely, as Greg said, go on Kickstarter, search for Hammer on Kickstarter so you can find it. You only have 3 days left to get your pledge in and support. You can go anywhere from donating to doing the PDF version to, hey, our sugar mamas, sugar daddies, go ahead and get that $600 level plus. We appreciate you. Yes, just, yeah, give the blessings through your support. And then, and of course, if, because I know everybody, the money may not be there because how the economy is, the best thing you could also do is share the link on your social media, share it with your friends and family, because that way you can get other people's eyes on it and they can also give their support. So spread the word. If you financially can't give, spread the word. So definitely share with your social media and friends and family so we can just make this a big success. So we have Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and then make it so big that Netflix is knocking on Greg's door like, hey, we want to turn this into a film. We're turning this into a, a mini series, something. So yes, let's make it so successful that they're come knocking on his door and he gives what he's looking for to work with them. But with that, everybody, we are at the top of the hour. We thank everybody for tuning in. Special shout out to Joy, who was watching this on Instagram at the LaGuardia Airport while waiting for her flight. So thank you for watching while you were at the airport.
Thank you,
And
Joy.
everybody else, you're a real G on that one. And then, of course, everybody else that has tuned in, if you're watching this on the recording, definitely continue to share. Like we said, you have until Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern to support this Kickstarter. So definitely like, comment, and share. But also, we'd love for you to subscribe and follow all Moana Nui Podcast on all social media platforms, but also Greg and David on their platforms also. And hello, Miles. You just caught us as we're about to close it out. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. You all have a great evening and make sure, once again, like, share, comment, and share with your friends and family. And of course, pledge. And if you have somebody who's got some money burning in their pocket, send it to them and let them pledge. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and you all have a great evening. We will see you. We got what episodes we got coming up? Thursday, of course, our Thursday episode. So definitely tune in. We have some content coming from both MomoCon and Ranger Stop and Pop. We have an interview with Colleen O'Shaughnessy, best known as the voice actor for Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, several other characters that she is involved. And then at 8:30 this Thursday, we have a panel discussion with the Power Rangers Dino Thunder and Lightspeed Rescue, moderated by our very own Ohana family and aka friend of the show, Alan Z. So definitely tune in for those this Thursday. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all all have a great evening and bye, everyone.
So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off, called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.